Who would you say have the worst weekend? Was it Amari DiMarcado, Rob Gronkowski, or Mark Sanchez?
Gee, I don't know, Derek. The guy who's probably going to go to prison.
I
I
don't
think
know, man.
that,
Amari DiMarcado dropping that football was pretty bad.
yeah, real tough.
And then Rob Gronkowski mispronouncing Emeka Ibuka with the Mecca Ibigbu, whatever the hell he said. That was pretty
Yeah,
bad.
big. Well, it's not as bad as Jason Witten pronouncing Ebukam, but yeah, out of those three, they're not even in the same class as Mark Sanchez. Dude, that read off like a Mad Lib that just went awry. If you, I mean, Mark Sanchez in Indianapolis confronts a delivery driver while delivering fry oil to a hotel or picking up fry oil from a hotel.
Yeah.
Sanchez is drunk and then ends up allegedly beating the guy to the point where he has this severe laceration on his face to where he had difficulty speaking and is now facing 1 to 6 years in prison. Though I honestly, with the way that these things shake out, it's going to be a while until we actually get the new development on this lawsuit. And I wouldn't be surprised if, I don't know how it's going to happen. I'm not a law expert, but somehow that's going to get knocked down to where he's not even going to have to serve any prison time and probably just, other penalties. But he's probably, yeah, Derek, I'd say out of those three, Sanchez lost his job, could go to jail. Yeah, I'd say that one.
Yeah, he hasn't lost his job yet, Steven, but most likely will.
Think so. I think we can safely assume that.
I would say the person with the worst weekend had to be Brady Quinn because he was supposed to have his Sunday off. They had to fly to Indianapolis to do a Raiders Colts game that was thrilling.
Not easy.
No. Yeah, the Mark Sanchez situation, I liked how it turned. Not that I liked the situation by any means, but like it turned into, at first it was Mark Sanchez having a lot of sympathy, being like, oh man, whatever happened in Indianapolis, did he get mugged? Someone stabbed him? That's terrible. And then my initial reaction was, that's awful. Indianapolis? Really? What goes on there where he would get mugged like that? And then you get the other information of Mark Sanchez apparently was fucked up, was hit in the town, and came back to his hotel. It was just upset that this guy was making a delivery for grease oil. And I guess he didn't like the guy was double parked, went into his truck, tried to remove the driver from his truck, and then went on to beat the crap out of the guy so severely that the guy had to defend himself with a knife. This is one of the more crazier stories I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Because we're not getting all the details.
With Sanchez, who seems to be a fairly even-keeled guy, by all things, by all accounts. But when you hear that he was pepper sprayed and then wiped his face away and started charging at the guy again, and that's what prompted him to take out the knife. Yeah, this story, man, it was just strange. A strange one to keep up with. Strange one, I'm sure, for Fox to deal with. Like Kurt Menefee and Chris Myers had to make some, I don't know, just vague kind of, T's and P's, thoughts and prayers with everyone involved. All right, let's move on. And I don't know. You also just wonder, I mean, I think this is just the natural reaction. I'm not saying anything, but just the natural reaction is when it comes to football players, like, does CTE play any role in this sort of thing? Like, you know what I mean? It's just, it might be wrong for me to reach that conclusion, but whenever an NFL player is involved like this, and it seems they do something out of character, yeah, I always kind of go to that. And maybe that's wrong of me, but that's just kind of speculation.
Yeah, I would say that's speculation. I mean, like, I don't know. Who's to say what happened with Mark Sanchez? I don't know why he did this, but the story is...
Or he's just a super violent drunk.
Could be, or he learned from, dating Meadow Soprano just how to go mafia style sometimes on somebody. But I don't know. Like, and I'm joking there, obviously. But, yeah, not a good situation. Weird situation. Still would say Amari DiMarcado, though. Pretty bad weekend.
I mean, his coach got fined $100,000 for it. So,
Yeah, we'll get into that whole situation. And Rob Gronkowski, I mean, he just messes up words all the time. And who am I to call him out? I mess up words all the time.
You all
myself. Do. Yes. Just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa, we're coming to you on a Tuesday night to react to everything in Week 5 of the NFL. Mainly the Raider loss that we'll get into. Not really the game. It's just what's going on with the Raiders. And we'll get into the other games that went on Sunday and Monday for Week 5 of the NFL. But Steven, I've been on Bart the last hour. The Yankees tie up the game 6-6 with the Blue Jays.
They did. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Facing elimination. Well, we'll keep you abreast of anything that transpires in that game.
Aaron Judge with a home run, I think, in now 6 postseason elimination games, which ties the great David Ortiz. And I immediately thought of that commercial with the hats. Big Papi.
I don't recall this commercial.
You don't remember that hat?
No.
Oh, you don't remember that? Where the oh God, was it Jeter in the commercial where he's wearing a Red Sox hat, or someone's wearing a Red Sox hat? And
when did this come out, Steven?
A long time ago. It was in the 2000s, really? When David Ortiz was playing. And they had
I don't know if it was during his playing days or just recently.
No, it was during his playing days.
Okay.
It was when they were wearing the Yankees and Red Sox hat, and I think they were like in Japan or something, and someone was wearing a Red Sox hat. Big Papi. And then it come to find out it's a Yankee. Big Papi. And then go to someone else.
Yeah.
If you actually watched the commercial, I would look way less of a loser right now. Does anyone else remember that commercial? Big Papi.
I don't recall the commercial at all, man. But maybe I don't remember. Or yeah, like I don't recall it at all.
It's like for Lids or something. Lids, yeah. New era. I don't know.
And Derek Jeter's in the commercial as well.
Might not be Derek Jeter. It could be someone else. It could just be someone random wearing a Red Sox hat. Big Papi. Oh.
Either way, Steven and I faced off against each other in fantasy football this weekend with a little tickle my butthole league. And I lost terribly. This is the same league where Steven had to do the beer chug, where you come in last as far as a point total for the weekend. And a week after Steven came in last, I came in last this week because, funny enough, I had Amari DiMarcado and I had Justice Hill as my 2 running backs because Josh Jacobs and Kenneth Gainwell were both on buys. So I have to chug a beer. I'm going to do it on this show just to get out of the way. I'll do the screen record and send it to Jacob Violante and everybody in that wonderful fantasy football league. Not only that, though, Steven kicked my ass in picks, so I have to do the hot sauce as well. So for everybody that wants to see me suffer, I got the hot sauce and I got the beer. It only makes sense that I do the hot sauce first before I do the beer. So, Steven, go ahead, sorry. Go ahead.
Nothing. I was just going to, I meant to text you earlier. Like, you don't have to do the beer chug. I was just doing that in place of the hot sauce because Alon was in the podcast and I wasn't going to do it last week.
I might as well. I already poured it and I might as well do it on here. I mean, you did it on the podcast last week, so I'll do it today.
Cool.
Steven, let's start with the Raiders. Dude, Raiders lose 40-6, and I know that the Colts are a better football team. I'm not saying they should have won this game by any means, but just show some fucking life. I'll give my spiel about it, but your thoughts on the Raiders starting 1-4 and just being an utter disappointment right now.
Yeah, we are back to where we've always been. Questions around the roster.
Same as it ever was.
Questions about who built the roster, questions about the quarterback, questions about the coaching staff, some defending the coaching staff, even though they might not deserve it. I'm seeing a lot of Chip Kelly people saying that he's scheming guys open and Geno Smith needs to just hit these open receivers. But I'm also saying that Chip Kelly had something to do with the lack of consistency and stability along that offensive line. But it's just year after year, Derek. And I hate that we can't talk about the game. Like, I wouldn't mind going after
by all means,
36 drubbing, and how the first drive, I think, was emblematic of all the the Raiders' issues this season. And it's just the first drive alone, because after that, it was just a wash. Geno Smith was horrible. Take Geno Smith out of it. They probably should bench him, but you know what? go with Kenny Pickett. I don't know if that's going to win any games. You know what I say? Keep Geno Smith in there so that this staff can watch the decision they made and just watch them crumble as the season goes on, because they threw all their eggs into the Geno Smith basket. And I hate to say it, but I'm kind of writing him off right now. I don't know if anyone's writing back. Kind of writing him off. But the first drive of the game, where they're actually, it's not too bad. You know, you hit an open Jack Best downfield, you get into the red zone. Then I think I showed you, Derek, the 3 separate runs. I think I sent you 2 of them with Jacoby Myers and Jack Best, who just can't block, or at least didn't on that first drive. And then DJ Glaze, the right tackle, just looking lost when they got into the end zone and just couldn't break off a double team and get to the second level to block a linebacker. But there was the situation where they're inside the 10 and they run the football. It was fine. Maybe he could have hit the end zone. Maybe he could have got to, I don't know, the 1 yard line. At that point, maybe they would have ran the football. But instead, they decide to throw it. And they put the ball in the hands of Geno Smith, who's not seeing anyone open. And people are replaying the tape right now, as like literally an hour ago, posting the clip of the play in the end zone where he misses an open Ian Thomas and instead takes the sack. But I see that as a Chip Kelly issue. If you told us at the beginning of the year that your goal was to be physical and you are going to run the football down their throats, you are going to establish that, run it down their gullet. And when you have the opportunity to give it to your first round, 6th overall pick running back, you don't. And it's just the same old story. That the thing that a lot of the guys in the chat were saying, we're talking about with Pete Carroll and that infamous Marshawn Lynch decision where he instead made Russell Wilson throw the ball. And as we know, it ended up going in the way of the Patriots. And I'm already forgetting the cornerback's name who made that interception.
For who?
For the Patriots.
Week 1?
Yeah, against the Seahawks in the Super Bowl when they passed it.
Malcolm Butler.
Giving it to Marshawn. Malcolm Butler. I knew it was Butler. I was going to call him Eric Butler. Malcolm Butler. You're seeing that situation again where it's just mistake after mistake, and you can't help but think after that just dreadful performance, you can't help but think big picture. And my mind's going to places where it's like, I don't know where they go next. I don't know what happens with Max Crosby. Like, I don't want them to trade him because I feel like it's going to build them for the future. I want them to trade him because Max deserves a little more than what he's getting right now. Like, the coaching staff, I'm wondering if Pete Carroll's going to last beyond this year. Just, there's so many different things, Derek. I'll let you go. I've kind of been rambling, but
no, by all means.
It's hard to put all my thoughts into one podcast because this team has me questioning my life decisions. Well, at least my life decision in sports, not my other life decision. I made very good life decisions as of late.
And I would say you made a good decision being a Raider fan, but it's hard. It's tough. It's heartbreaking. It makes us better people, I would say, Stephen. But
strong character, yeah.
Let me just say that Max Crosby's going nowhere. They just signed him to a long-term extension. They are not trading him. I know that 49er fans are getting their hopes up because there's rumors out there that aggregators are out there. The Raiders will never, ever, ever do a deal with the 49ers. Never. It's not going to happen. It's not.
You never know.
No, dude. There's a reason why they don't do deals with that team. And you could say what you want. I disagree with this mentality, but the Raiders organization feel that they were pushed out of the Bay Area because of the 49ers. They had a better deal on the table for Khalil Mack, and the Raiders said, no, we're not going to do it. They are not going to trade Max Crosby to the 49ers. I will die on that hill. It's not going to happen. And if they weren't going to trade away Max Crosby last offseason or last trade deadline to the Detroit Lions for 2 first-round picks, when I'm sure that may have been on the table, they're not going to do it now. I have a lot of things to say, so I'll just get this hot sauce out of the way. I put way too much hot sauce on here. Look at this. That's way too much. It's too much. But here we go.
As you're dealing with that, can I just say that these Raiders, they go to their store to buy bacon.
What do you mean?
They go to the store to buy bacon, Derek.
As opposed to?
I need these Raiders to be boar hunters.
The Oakland Raiders, Hugh Jackson, he's got a bunch of guys that like bacon. And you know what they do? They go to the grocery store and they buy their bacon. Well, guess what? I need some damn boar hunters. I need them to hunt them down with knives.
How about butcher shop? Can they go to the butcher shop?
No. They go to They already go to Safeway. They're already safe. Okay, but I need wild boar hunters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guess what, dude?
Guess what?
I miss Kozimor for so many reasons. He knew how to needle guys with ridiculous sayings like that, like Jim Tomsula when he was introduced as 49ers head coach, and he was like, "So what's your philosophy as a play caller or your offense?" A little throwing, a little passing. Oh, don't tip your hand there, Jim.
You're tipping your hand, Jim.
And then right there with Bo Romanowski, what about the butcher shop? Like, Kozimor is such a sophisticated smartass that he's just so perfect when he's on radio or television.
Yeah, I had to text him about that when I saw that clip. It popped up.
I'm going to chug this beer as well because it's probably going to be terrible for the hot sauce, but here we go.
Jeez. Wow. How about that? Good for you.
All right.
Whoa.
I am all that is man. All right. Raiders. Dude, what the hell? Like every year we get our hopes up that something's going to change. Believe me, my Raider fandom days are over, but every now and then my rage boils over.
Yeah.
And God, I'm sweating. Because
doing well.
I thought that Pete Carroll would have a Mike Vrabel effect on this team. You're seeing it right now with the Patriots. They're in games. They just beat the Bills, and they're going to be a pain in the ass for them for the foreseeable future. I'm not saying the Raiders are going to take over the AFC West, but I thought that they would be a pain in the ass for the Chiefs and the Chargers and the Broncos, and that's not the case. They look like the team that we've seen the last 2 years. Like this is
Derek. I think we both went into it thinking the expectation they're not going to be that good. I mean, they're going to win some games, but they're at least going to be competitive and show something for next season. And so far, they've been an embarrassment.
Yeah, no, and it looks like Antonio Pierce a year ago. In fact, Antonio Pierce had a better record at 2-2. The Raiders, I mean, God, Pete Carroll, he's never been 1-4 in his long time of being an NFL coach. Never been 1-4. The Raider effect, man. These great coaches come over, whether it's John Gruden or Pete Carroll or think of anybody else, and they just it's weird. It's such like it's like the Raider, like the football gods, like no, we're not going to let the Raiders be good. As far as this game, I mean, it was just salt in the wound that the Raiders injured, who's it, Matthew Gay, their kicker? And every time the Colts scored, they went for two, but it wasn't even like, the Colts didn't get the 2-point conversion. It's like, whatever. Like, it's not like the Raiders are come back in this game by any means. Mm-hmm. So I'm not even mad at the defense for not stopping the Colts because the Colts are just right now an offensive juggernaut with Daniel Jones, and that's unbelievable. Jonathan Taylor's playing his way to being Offensive Player of the Year.
Sure.
But it's the same old shit as far as the offensive line not blocking. I know, like I saw Ernie in the chat say, run Genty. They've been running Genty. They're just not getting anything effective with them because the offensive line can't block, and that's going to happen with Colton Miller being out. But Geno Smith doesn't look like he's comfortable whatsoever behind this offensive line. You're right, Steven. The wide receivers aren't blocking. So, yeah, dude, I mean, I don't know who to blame. I think that Geno Smith, when he was acquired, I thought it would be better quarterback play than we've seen in recent years with Jimmy Garoppolo and Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. But I thought Geno Smith was kind of on the downslope with his career a year ago where he was throwing a lot of interceptions. And I know the Ernie and Rocca Nuera talks about Geno throws, and he has more quotes than, good plays. He's a turnover machine. If it was a mix of him throwing for 400 yards and 3 touchdown passes and 3 interceptions, and you can live with that a little bit because he's a gunslinger. He doesn't put up the yards. He doesn't put up the points. He just puts up the interceptions. And, the Grover Stewart interception that's tipped and Latu comes down with the pick, that's not on him. It's a mix. I don't know if Chip Kelly fits with what they're trying to do with Geno Smith, but Geno's not playing well, and he's stealing money with $40 million a year. Like, that contract looks terrible right now. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I do think they have the right guys in place to turn the ship around. I do think that John Spytek's a good evaluator of talent. It's proven that Pete Carroll's a good head coach, but they look like the same old Raiders, man. Same as it ever was.
I understood the plan that they had. I think it was pretty clear what their plan was. They wanted to build the offense. They felt like they had Max Crosby. They needed to establish something offensively. So they go out in the draft and they get Ashton Genty. They get Jack Bash with their first 2 picks. They pick Darian Porter in the 3rd round, and I'll get to that in a second. But then Caleb Rogers and Charles Grant, both offensive linemen, and then Dante Thornton as the next wide receiver. So 4 out of your first 5 picks, or rather 5 out of your first 6 picks, were all on the offensive side. So you were going to build around him. You were going to and Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, probably going to run a bunch of 12 personnel. You have Jacoby Myers, but maybe these other guys can turn into a number 1 receiver. Well, Jack Besh, you saw him get as many targets as he's had all season. Maybe he'll start to get a little bit more. Dante Thornton right now is just Brian Edwards 2.0. He's not getting any separation. He's very talented.
Man, that's a name.
He's very talented, but you remember what we talked about with Brian Edwards when we first started doing this podcast. Oh, maybe this podcast is the problem. The Raiders just have been cursed ever since we started this pod.
No. That first season, they went to the postseason, Stephen, when we did this.
Oh, yeah. That's right. But Dante Thornton just doesn't get any separation. I think the average separation that he's getting as one of the starting wide receivers, it's like an average of 1.7 or something like that, which is just not good. It's subpar.
Yeah.
It's towards the bottom among those who qualify. But I understood the vision, though. I really did get it. But the fact that Geno Smith is the quarterback has ruined everything. I mean, they were probably going to maybe draft a guy in the 1st round next year because there's a lot of potential quarterbacks going in the 1st round, a lot of fairly good ones. I don't know if they had a plan to trade up or whatever it was, but I saw the vision and I still see it, except the quarterback is still there. And I don't know if that becomes a little bit blurry. It's now opaque instead of just being clear with what they wanted to do down the line. Like, they probably wanted to keep Geno Smith just for a couple of years, have him start this year, have him start next year, and have the rookie learn under his tutelage, and then have the rookie start the following season. Like, you could tell what they were trying to do, but the fact that this is already over 5 weeks in, at least the experiment with the quarterback, then I don't know what their vision is anymore. And I don't know how they're going to capitalize off that. As for the defense, I mean, you said you didn't want to blame the defense for you didn't want to blame the defense for the game against Colts. That's totally fine. I don't know where they're going with the defense. I don't know what their plan is. You let Nate Hobbs walk, and Nate Hobbs actually among the free agent that they let go. He's actually not playing that well right now. He's been injured a little bit. And the only time we've heard of Nate Hobbs is from that Sunday Night Football graphic where they're doing the names and the colleges. And he said he's from middle high school. And he looked stoned out of his mind. Let's be honest. He really did. Maybe he was. Who cares? But Nate Hobbs, right? They let him go. Trevon Merrick, who is currently second to Derwin James in run stops, and he's only allowed 86 yards passing on 13 catches for the Panthers. He's been an impact player for them. Divine Diablo, who has improved immensely. He was once the highest rated Falcons linebacker during, I think, like week 3 or something like that. Like, Divine Diablo looks like a much better player. Robert Spillane and Kalavon Kyson, however you pronounce his name. Both of them went to the Patriots. I don't even have to give you any stats to show you what Spillane did last year. Like, he looked like he was a kind of a long-term solution at middle linebacker. And instead, you got Jermaine Pratt, who's gone. You got Devin White and Landon Roberts. They've been fine, but also the missed tackles were glaring in that game against the Colts. I would take Spillane over any one of those two every day of the week. And in secondary, Jeremy Chin, he is a tackling machine, but also has a bunch of issues in coverage. I think he's given up like the highest passer rating among all defensive backs. Eric Stokes was hurt last week, but I mentioned Darian Porter. They started this guy, and then they played him for limited snaps, and he's looked okay. But then they tried this experiment with Caillou Blue Kelly, who's, I think, in his third year in the league and bounced to two different teams, or was on Washington his rookie season, then went to Vegas last year, and then you prop him up as the starter, and he has allowed 319 yards passing when targeted, and that is the most in the NFL. So I don't know what their vision is here. And not to mention all those guys that they signed, with exception to Jeremy Chin, they're all on just 1-year deals. So what's the vision after that? Tyree Wilson's been okay on the line. You know, Max Crosby's been Max Crosby, but he's only had 2 sacks this year. And I think that's just a product of not having an entire stout line around him. You just go down the list, man. I saw it with the offense. I don't know where they're heading with the defense. I don't know what their plan is.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely blame the defense in this game, but I think that the offense was the issue. I think the amount of
was, Derek. I'm not saying that the defense was the primary reason why they lost. Like, the reason they lost is because their quarterback can't make plays.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying, like, the way that they've constructed this team, the way that they've built it, it seems like they had a future built around their offense, whereas this defense, it's just like a placeholder year.
Yeah, I think that with the amount of times that the Raiders turn over the ball or, you know, punted it back to them, like the defense could get their footing right. And that's been the case for most of these games. But yeah, I would put this on the offense. I mean, to lose 40-6, like, put up some offense. Like, they were equal parts lifeless on offense and defense, but the offense didn't put the defense in a good position to, succeed whatsoever.
Yeah.
And the times they did have big plays, like the big play to Trey Tucker down the sideline, then it's met with the interception by Latu. And then, like, in the fourth quarter, why are we kicking a field goal? Like, I get it, like, you're losing 40-3, but you're gonna come back with 40-6. Like, it makes it that much better. Play for a touchdown at that point, Pete. And, like, I don't think Pete's doing a bad job. It's hard to say. Like, he's a legend. I do wonder if the game's kind of passed him by, but I don't know. I don't think it's on him. I'm surprised he brought back Patrick Graham. I thought that maybe he would go with his own defensive coordinator. I thought maybe Gus Bradley or anybody else he had back in his Seattle days. I did think that Chip Kelly was a possibility, but I didn't know how they would gel together. And it doesn't look good right now. And I think it's primarily on the offensive line. I'm surprised that they did not prioritize that in the free agency period prior to drafting Ashton Genty if they had their hearts set on him.
Well, we see who's the coach of the offensive line, right?
Yeah, no, I brought this up before. It's is it Brendan Carroll?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's entirely on him. I think it's just the personnel. I think they were a bad offensive line a year ago, and they just didn't improve it. But let's be real about Geno Smith. He had success with the Seahawks and only the Seahawks when they had DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. They had really good receivers. And Jackson Smith-Njigba. Now he's playing with Brock Bowers, who's been injured, and we haven't seen him anywhere close to what we saw a year ago. He didn't play in this game. I thought he was going to, but then he was ruled out on Sunday morning. Michael Mayer's been pretty much injured since his rookie season. The wide receivers, Jacoby Myers has not been anything remotely productive right now. Trey Tucker's the only guy that shows up on the offense to me. And then Ashton Genty a week ago against the Bears, but he gets no blocking. So this offense is not very good. That's why I wanted them to acquire another wide receiver. Amari Cooper didn't pan out. Totally understand that. But there's not a lot of playmakers on the offensive side of the football. So they need Brock Bowers to be healthy. They need the offensive line to block, bottom line. And yeah, dude, just it's the same old, same old. Like, I thought that there would be, like, what you're seeing right now with the Patriots is Mike Vrabel has his fingerprints all over this team. Liam Cohen, say what you will about, the way he handled that Robert Saleh situation. He apologized about that today with Pat McAfee. But he's making this football team a lot better, the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Raiders, they haven't had the Pete Carroll effect. And I'm tired of people saying, like, well, they're in another rebuild mode. No, they were not in a rebuild. They were trying to win this season. You don't go out and trade for Geno Smith with a third-round draft pick and say you're rebuilding. You were trying to win this season. You were trying to compete. At least get 7 wins, 8 wins, 9 wins. If you're stupid like me, you expect 10 wins. but they look like the same old Raiders, and I don't know what it is. I think it's maybe, too much of expectations right away for Pete Carroll, and that's bound to happen with, his resume. It's kind of like, like if the Giants did, the San Francisco Giants, if they made Bruce Bochy their manager again, well, the expectations are, well, they got to compete again. They got to compete with the Dodgers. They got to compete with the Padres and the Diamondbacks. And the truth is, they're so far away from those other teams. So maybe that's the case with the Raiders right now. Is I thought that they were maybe, a different team. What they would just, be a tough out for these other teams, the Chiefs, the Chargers, and Broncos. But they are so far behind them.
Derek, we're at a point where we need a Hondo bullet point article. Where's it at? Because you said you're not really down on Pete Carroll and the job that he's done, but it's been odd. Everything happening around the Raiders has been bizarre, starting from the Christian Wilkins incident to Jermaine Pratt being a healthy scratch and not traveling with the team, and then ultimately saying that he's released. The situation with Alex Kappa and Jackson Powers Johnson when JPJ was far and away the better offensive lineman, and the head coach is the final one making the decisions, and he seemed to really back that up. Everything that he's been relying on, Caillou Blue Kelly, I mentioned that was a Pete Carroll guy. Pete Carroll wanted him to start. This Devin White experience, like, I think that a lot of these off the field situations that are happening. Brock Bowers, by the way, you mentioned how Brock Bowers was hurt. He shouldn't have played last week. And there was this weird situation where he said, oh, well, we didn't practice these last 2 days and we were hoping he'd be good to go, but he's not. Just the lack of organization around this team. The fact that we're even comparing Pete Carroll to Antonio Pierce, who literally didn't know what he was doing. He did not know what he was doing. Yeah. And we are longing for the days of Antonio Pierce smoking cigars in the locker room. People are posting clips of Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know if they're doing that. I don't know if they're doing that ironically, but that's the thing, Derek, is these Raiders have driven others to the point of insanity once again, to where they're saying, I don't know, I'd rather have Antonio Pierce as the head coach.
No.
Would you? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. There's a reason he hasn't got another coaching job. Like Jimmy Garoppolo, what? It's just, that's what it's come to, though. That's what it's come to. But with all that being said, you know what? I'm not going to give up on them. I'm not going to be done with them, because if I say that and they come back and, I don't know, get a few wins in a row, to buy you back in, I'm not going to rule that out. I'm not going to say on this podcast after 5 weeks that I'm fully done with this team. But they are back to being a punching bag. You got to be okay with it. I just don't want that to come back and bite me in the ass, and you could have a freezing cold take situation where you're just completely out, and then a few weeks later, well, you're back in just because they started winning games. Just things have been off, man. Hondo, where you at? Need the bullet points.
Yeah, Steven, but I don't know if it's like anything with Pete Carroll behind the scenes right now. I do wonder what
there's all this weird shit going on, man, and it's on the head coach.
Yeah, but is it that weird? Like the Christian Wilkins thing, that was just because he did not want to get foot surgery. And at that point, they had to cut him. He was not healthy for this season. No one's picked up Christian Wilkins. Jermaine Pratt, I don't think he was playing very well. The Jackson Powers Johnson situation, I think he just deferred to Chip Kelly on that one, and Chip Kelly has, I don't know. I don't know if he's the right guy to be offensive coordinator for this football team. He came from college. He had his struggles in the NFL, and I just don't know if he's a good fit right now with this team. But I'm not going to blame him for the offensive line not blocking. I don't know. I have to give Pete Carroll the benefit of the doubt, man, because of what he's done in the past. But maybe it's just because, I don't know, no other team's going to give him a job, and it seemed like the right thing to do where you want an adult in the room. But I don't know if Pete Carroll's the right guy for the job either right now. I don't know.
It seems like the names that you mentioned, Mike Vrabel and Liam Cohen, yeah, he's less of that, and it's more Bill Belichick at UNC. What's going on with Pete at the Raiders?
Yeah, maybe. That may be the case, but they have to win this week. If they lose to the Tennessee Titans at home, that's going to be awful.
Yeah,
that could not happen.
Lost in the way that the Cardinals did too.
We'll definitely get to that game,
dude,
but
I'm just okay. So let's try to reverse course here. What gives you any sort of, what's something that you can look to where you're like, okay, they got this. the Raiders have this on their side. Maybe they could start winning some games here and turning it around. It's just been a total mess these first 5 weeks.
Ash Gente. We saw a glimpse of it, not a glimpse, like we saw the full thing against the Bears where he can go for 138 yards and be effective in the passing game. Yeah, they have a playmaker on their hands. They just need to block for him. They need to get an offensive line. And they're not the type of team that's going to make trades at the deadline to improve the offensive line. So they just need to play better. I do wonder, I know I was bringing this up before. I do wonder about the power dynamic between Pete Carroll and John Spytek. Is it where Pete's just telling him, this is what I want out of my football team? I like to believe that they're in, unison as far as what's going to be the look of this team. But is it just because Pete's been around for longer that he's telling John Spytek, this is how we're going to, be as a football team? I want to draft this guy. I want to draft that guy. John Spytek sounds like a really smart guy. So I don't think it's that way, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's as bad behind the scenes as it was with Josh McDaniels or Antonio Pierce. I think it's just Pete figuring out this football team, and it's more so like the San Francisco Giants where, he's coming in and evaluating the roster, and it turns out that this roster is not very good.
Yeah. I think they need to get Jack Best more snaps. You're definitely right on the offensive line. I'm just trying to look at the defense and think, and I can't see anything moving forward here. Just like they still gave up 40 points. And the offense, if Geno Smith just cuts down on the damn interceptions, then maybe they're in these ball games. But I don't think starting Kenny Pickett is the answer.
No.
I don't think trading for some backup quarterback is going to be the answer. No, I'm going to stick with Geno Smith because this is what the team wanted. And as a fan, do I want that? No. But you know what? They have to ride with what they got. And they got to ride with the quarterback that they paid big money to. Are we heading to you kind of alluded to it without saying the C word, but are we heading to Raiders are cursed? Are we heading to that point?
Dude, I thought that my whole childhood. But no, they're not cursed. They're just a bad organization. Believe me, I know I waffle. Am I a fan? Am I not a fan? Steven knows. People in the chat telling me, Derek, you're still a fan. You guys don't know how much I lived and died with Raider football. I don't anymore. I really don't.
No, you've toned it down. They're in your heart, but you've toned it down a lot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Steven knows. He's seen me in action.
Every glass in a bar is safe when you're watching a Raider.
Exactly. Game. I've matured. But there were definitely there were days back when we were doing Raiders pregame shows where I would throw glasses, my phone. Yeah, I was unhinged when it came to Raider football. So don't tell me, Tacky, if you're still around, probably not, watching some Gordon Ramsay show probably, where I am still a fan. It's not the same for me anymore. Yeah. Believe me, my fandom died when they left for Vegas. It's just hard for me to care as much as I used to. But there's still a part of me that still bleeds silver and black, and I just hate the fact that they haven't really changed. It looks the same. I thought that they would be going in the right direction. Like when the Giants got Bob Melvin, and Giants fans got their hopes up. Okay, maybe we'll turn the corner. We'll go to the postseason. I'm not saying that was the intention with the Raiders this year, but maybe just to show some life. And it looks like they lose the same way. They, lose to an up-and-coming team in the Colts 40-6. They outplay the Bears for the majority of the game and lose on a blocked field goal when Caleb Williams doesn't even play that well. They have to beat the Titans for me to believe they're turning the corner. If they don't, then it's the same old, same old. And this team is going down a dark road where they may be contention for the number 1 pick or top 5, whatever it is, and you have to consider who your quarterback's going to be next season. But I'm with you, Steven. You cannot bench Geno Smith right now because you traded away a 3rd-round pick for him. He is your guy. You're not going to be that much better with Kenny Pickett. You have to figure things out with Geno Smith. I don't see any other option.
And you know what is different from this year's team to teams of years past? Special teams sucks now.
Yeah, special teams is horrible.
It's the only strong point of their whole organization. Ever since I've been born, it's only been about the special teams. Loved Kondo. Little ironic in the fandom for him, but loved Kondo. Shane Leckler, Jano, Marquette King, Del Vecchio. Was that his last name?
Yeah, that was it.
It was Del Vecchio?
Giorgio Tavecchio?
Tavecchio, not Del Vecchio. Del Vecchio's from Backyard Baseball.
Did we meet Giorgio at Jack Del Rio's bocce ball tournament?
We did, and he was just Mr. Happy to be there.
Yep.
But special teams was the only thing where you could say, okay, it's not that bad. But now when AJ Cole goes out for a punt, I don't know.
Yeah.
Now that every field goal kicker, it seems like, is able to kick 50-plus yard field goals with these, it doesn't seem like they have anything that special in Daniel Carlson anymore. Even the special teams unit's gone to shit.
Yeah. I mean, I thought they gave up a touchdown this past week against the Colts, and it was called back, but they gave up 2 big plays one with Debo and one with the kick returner Lynn for the Commanders game. Yeah, their special teams is not good. Like all 3 phases of the game, they're not very good right now. So
hard. Oh, okay. How about this? What do you think is going to happen to Max Crosby? Anything or nothing?
Nothing.
You don't think so?
I think he's going nowhere. I think that when you make a commitment to him as far as a contract extension, he could bitch and complain. I think that I don't know, like I haven't heard him in interviews, but I have to believe he's a little more comfortable with Pete Carroll. But then again, I don't really know. So no, I do not think they're going to trade Max Crosby at the deadline. They should have, if they had any intention of trading him, they wouldn't have signed him to a contract.
Yeah.
So I know some teams were willing to pick up that contract willingly, but I don't think the Raiders are going to move off of him.
Yeah.
If you're going to turn a corner and have any glimmer of hope for the future, he has to be a part of it. He's that good of a player. Like I've definitely come around to him. Like at first I was like, I don't know if he's as good as Khalil Mack. He is top 3, if not the best defensive player in football. He's that good. You don't trade him away. If you're trying to find anything with this team, it's Ashton Genty on offense and it's Max Crosby on defense. Mm-hmm. And Brock Bowers. There's other, pieces they have. It's just not a whole lot right now. So the offense is the problem. There's where the Niners have a lot of young guys on defense right now. Robert Saleh's putting them in good situations. Patrick Graham is not. And I do wonder about his job security after this season because Pete Carroll did not need to bring him back. And I'm surprised he did. So I wonder about him. I wonder about Chip Kelly. Pete Carroll's going nowhere. I don't see them trading him. But, yeah, dude, it's just surprising to me. I never thought that Pete Carroll would have his worst start to a season with the Raiders. But then again, I probably shouldn't be surprised because it's the Raiders.
Yeah. The only player I think that could get traded is potentially Jacoby Myers, just because of questions around this. But I'll tell you, 49er fans, get in front of this. The ones that are listening to this podcast, if you want to sound smart in front of your friends, if they're in need of a wide receiver and you feel like Jacoby Myers is the one you got to go out and get, that's not happening. And the reason I say that, God damn it, I downloaded the wrong video. Shit, I had one ready.
It's the wrong video?
Yeah, this is the wrong one. I screen recorded 3 different plays from the opening drive of this Raiders-Colts game. You know what? Let me just do this to paint a picture of the difference that wide receiver blocking can make for a running back. This is the one with Jack Besh, right? Yeah, all right. You watch Jack Besh here on the left side. He was not ready for the snap. And the left side of your screen, rather. He's on the right side of the offense. But he wasn't ready for the snap. And this is a situation where he's trying to block number 33 and was a little late to it. This isn't a Jacoby Myers play, but this just goes to show where they're at. Oh, he's a little – okay. All right. Yeah, it's just a mess. By the way, there was another – it's not just the offensive line. JT, there's a situation where it was 1st and 20. They got called back. It was the second possession of the game after they just ran 16 plays and kicked a field goal. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Good God, man. Can you believe they've run 34 plays on 2 drives and gotten 6 points out of it?
Yeah, I can.
I got that 18-play drive, too, at the beginning of the year. But JT also needs to make some smarter decisions because there was one situation where they left a free rusher on the other side so that they can – double block the strong side of the offensive line. And they left a free rusher wide open and Genty's rolling to the left And instead of bouncing to the outside and following Raheem Mostert, who was a lead blocker, he just decides to cut down the middle and get tackled inside the 2 when he could have broke it off for a really, really big run. So it's not just the offensive line with him, but it does start with blocking. It all starts with blocking.
Yeah, dude, it's a mess right now offensively. The offensive line is putrid. I don't even know what to say anymore about it. Like,
I sent you the video of Jackson Powers Johnson. Like, this dude is a man possessed, and that's all I want, Derek. That's all I want. Even if they make the wrong block, just go out and hit somebody.
I know.
There's just too many times where you see offensive linemen standing around. Wasn't there a play? Like, I got to be honest, I stopped watching in the second half because by halftime we started making our way down to Sunnyvale to celebrate my father-in-law's birthday. Shout out to Tony. But I think it was in the first half where Gino is literally teaching Jordan Meredith about the clock and how time works.
Yeah.
See that? You got to get the ball snapped before that. Jordan Meredith, the guy they decided to start in place of JPJ, even though it's his, he was the best center in all of college football, given the award for it. I do think Powers Johnson's a solid guard. So it's not those two that I have a quarrel with. Oh, I mean, we won't make it sound so easy. We could say all these things, but football's hard. It's a difficult sport, but sometimes there are just some glaring issues that need pointing out, and it's very frustrating. I hate talking about teams like this.
I know, dude. It looks like the same old thing, and you wonder, like, what's Tom Brady's presence with this organization? Not that he needs to fix the whole thing. I mean, he's just a minority owner, but...
Tom, where were you? You were supposed to cheat.
Yeah, I know.
But... intel. Come on.
I know. And it seems like there's no benefit to that whatsoever. He's maybe like, I don't know, maybe we're making too much of that. Like, it's Tom Brady. We get it, but he has this not a full-time job, but he has a job where he's calling games, and maybe he's just helping out here every now and then, but I don't know, dude.
He's half-assing two things, not whole-assing one thing.
Exactly, in the words of Ron Swanson. So, yeah, I don't know what to make of the team. I thought they'd be better than this. I thought they would have at least 2 wins under the belt right now, but 1-4, it looks bad. They have to win this week. They cannot lose to Tennessee. That would be awful.
Can't wait for another top 10 pick. Here we go.
Yeah, exactly. All right, should we go around the league as far as the games from Week 5 of the NFL?
Derek, I've got thoughts.
All right, let's do it then. Let's start with the Eagles losing their first game of the season. They had a 17-3 lead on the Denver Broncos. And then they just have an epic meltdown in the fourth quarter, not to the likes of the Arizona Cardinals, but pretty bad. And they came out with the game plan to throw in this game. They only had Saquon carry 6 times, and I understand that because the defensive front was posed to stop the run. But Patrick Surtain, locked on A.J. Brown. It was Devontae Smith who had a pretty good game. I think I called that on Riley Moss. But yeah, Jalen Hurts, man, they don't do a lot offensively in the second half of games. Like, they establish their leads, and then they kind of get a little stagnant offensively. Yeah. And that's how the Denver Broncos were able to come back at this game. Like, for the most part, the Eagles were able to establish leads and then let teams creep back into it, but then they maintained the lead. Like you saw in Week 1, they were beating the Cowboys 24-20, and then there was the lightning delay, so no team had anything going offensively in the second half. They, got by against the Chiefs. They come back in epic fashion against the Rams, but that game against the Bucs, they're up 24-6 at halftime, and then let the Bucs creep back in. And then this game, the same kind of deal where they're up 17-3, and then the Broncos score 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, go for 2 to get the lead, 18-17. Very smart by Sean Payton there. But yeah, I thought that the Eagles were also kind of screwed out of the game with some calls.
They were. The Zach Vaughn call was dreadful.
I agree. Like what was it? Was it R.J. Harvey? He's still crawling on the ground. And I get it, like, he's on the ground technically, but it's just a, insurance tackle, but they throw a 15-yard penalty on Zach Bond there. I thought on the final drive, there was PI on Dallas Goedert. They picked up a flag on the field goal drive for the Broncos to extend the lead 21-17, where it looked like intentional grounding, but they picked the flag up for Bo Nix.
Yeah.
So in the end, the Eagles lose. The Broncos really good win on the road. I'm not freaking out about the Eagles by any means. I still think they're the best team in the NFC. Maybe actually, no, take that back. I think the Lions are, and we'll rank our NFC teams. But
Sure.
yeah, not. I mean, like everything that's going on with the Eagles right now, like the 49ers win by the skin of their teeth. The Buccaneers do the same thing. The Eagles got by at 4-1, and now all of their problems bit them in the ass.
Yeah, and maybe we do head towards that same situation as 2023 with the bye week coming up. Then after the bye week, that's when they really start to unravel. And there's a weird situation brewing there too. There was some report, I think it was from the guy who works for Shannon RJ, the morning show in Dallas. He was a guy in Dallas who had the report, but apparently like Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown and Saquon Barkley had like a meeting and they had a long discussion. And then Jason Dumas responded saying that's not what happened. So you got a little bit of that, but the fact that there are players only meetings happening in a situation where AJ Brown's clearly disgruntled, but that Zach Bond play pissed me off. How many other times has that happened in the NFL this year? And no one knows that it happened because it wasn't called and it was just didn't matter. It was it was just some innocuous play where the linebacker was trying to make sure he was down. I thought that was an awful call. But another thing that's becoming more apparent through 5 games, maybe the Madden curse is real. Maybe it is because Saquon is currently 22nd in rushing. He obviously, as you mentioned, they didn't run the ball in this game, but he had 6 carries for 30 yards, which is fine. It's a 5-yard average. But so far, he is 37th in rushing success rate this season and 35th in yards over expected. And that's out of 42 qualified running backs.
I think it's equal parts the offensive line not being effective as a year ago and them having injuries on their offensive line. I think it's also teams just selling out for the run and defenses knowing that Jalen Hurts, while at times he can look amazing, but for the most part, he's not going to be a very effective passer. So as long as you take away Saquon, then the Rams were like, okay, beat us with the pass, and they did, but the Broncos weren't fazed by that. The Buccaneers weren't fazed by that. I don't think it's a Madden curse team, and I think Saquon's still very good, but I think it's a little bit of defenses catching on to the Eagles' run blocking.
It has early shades of a Madden curse, Derek. We'll keep tabs on it throughout the week. I'm getting it out there just in week 5. I'm not saying it's true.
No, that's fair.
Just getting it out there right now. And he still has value as a pass catcher. It's the same thing as McCaffrey, where even though he might not get the numbers, he's still going to take the attention of the defense. And it's up to Jalen Hurts to take advantage of that on play action.
Exactly. Who are you trying to imitate there?
Nobody, dude. I'm just putting on voices. Trying to entertain the crowd.
Yeah, it's working. The most entertaining game of the weekend, in my opinion, was Buccaneers and Seahawks. Yeah. And this game looked beautiful with the throwback uniforms and just awesome quarterback play from Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. Sam Darnold, 28 of 34, 341 yards, 4 touchdown passes, the 1 interception that cost them in the end. And then Baker Mayfield, 29 of 33, 379 yards. And 2 touchdowns, just a fun, offensive, explosive game.
Yeah.
But the Bucs are resilient in the same way the 49ers are with their injuries. And the 49ers have much more injuries than the Buccaneers do. But not having Mike Evans, not having Bucky Irving, was Chris Godwin even suited up for this game? I know he came back last week against the Eagles, but I guess he wasn't ready for this one. So, yeah, I mean, I think Baker Mayfield right now is in your top 5 rankings for MVP. And it's very early. He's only played 5 weeks, but he's keeping this team alive. Like the way they're able to come back in games, to score in the last final minute of games against the Falcons and the Texans, the Jets, they get blown out by the Eagles for the most part. But yeah, to come back and be, resilient, as I said earlier in this game. Yeah, I don't know what they are, defensively right now because they gave up a shit ton of points, but the Buccaneers are pretty good right now. And as far as the Seahawks, I think they're very good.
Yeah.
I mean, from Sam Darnold looks like the Vikings quarterback from a year ago, and Jackson Smith-Njigba is awesome as a wide receiver. Cooper Kupp hasn't really flashed at all to be, the guy that we saw with the Rams, but Torrey Horton, their other wide receiver, and Kenyon Barner, their new tight end that they released, or they're playing in favor of Noah Fant.
You mean AJ?
Was it AJ? What did I say? Kenyon Barner? I'm thinking of like a
Kenyon
Eagles.
Barter. Shout out to old Oregon running backs.
Yeah, there you go. No, AJ Barter, the tight end. I think they're really good. I think they just have one bad play where Sam Darnold got a ball tipped and Levante David came up with it. So, yeah, I'm high on both teams. I think that the Buccaneers, I think they're going to run away with the NFC South, and the Seahawks, even though they lost this game and they have, 2 losses at home to the 49ers and Buccaneers, not bad at all. So I think they're going to be in tension for a playoff spot or even the division.
Right now, the Buccaneers are the first team in NFL history to win 4 games in their first 5 when tied or trailing in the final minute of regulation. So I know we are going to go through our best NFC teams, but I don't think it's any debate that right now the Buccaneers are the most exciting team, not just in the NFC, but in the NFL. It's just appointment television. Go back, anyone, if you can, go and watch that condensed game. It's just nonstop action. And another thing that you mentioned it at the top, and one thing we have to credit beyond Baker Mayfield for keeping them afloat.
Well, Baker Mayfield also did it without his number 1 wide receiver, Mike Evans. And you got to give credit to this rookie sensation wide receiver out of Ohio State, Emeka Egbuka, going for over 100 yards. Emeka Egbuka. I'm getting confused. He's going lights out once again.
Emeka Egbuka.
And Emeka Egbuka, it sounded like he was Mr. Krabs in an episode of SpongeBob where SpongeBob thinks that Mr. Krabs is a robot. Beep, boop, boop, beep. Emeka beep, boop, bop, bop, boop.
Right now you're seeing probably the offensive rookie of the year favorite. Egbuka's been awesome. And every deep ball completion that Baker's had that's over 20 yards downfield, I think 8 out of 9 of them have been to Egbuka. The other one is to shout out to them, man.
Yeah, dude. I mean, Emeka Egbuka, when they drafted him, I was like, why are they doing that? And, Mike Evans is getting older. Chris Godwin was coming off the injury. So, yeah, he's saving their season right now, along with Baker Mayfield. So, yeah, the Buccaneers are the most exciting team as far as NFC teams. But if we were going to rank them, Steven, how would you put the 4-1 division leaders right now between the Lions, the Eagles, the Bucs, and the 49ers? The Lions, just real quick, they kick the ass of the Bengals. The Bengals are, nothing to watch right now. They did make a huge trade today by trading away a 5th-round pick for Joe Flacco and a 6th. You don't really see in-division trades anymore. So now we'll get, a little more entertaining quarterback play from the Bengals. And I think that this is a pretty good option considering, they could have gone after Russell Wilson. They could have gone after Jameis Winston. But Joe Flacco's a cheaper option. Probably the draft capital is lower with him. And now we get some nice hug it, chug it football.
It's amazing how with the Lions, we kind of, to take the words from Gino, we kind of wrote them off. But who would have thought that getting their game-wrecking edge rusher would kind of make a difference? I know they didn't really need him against the Bengals led by Browning, but he had 8 pressures in that game and also had a strip sack. And I think he's the only player in the NFL right now with at least 3 games with those types of numbers. So Aiden Hutchinson, not just on a comeback player of the year track, but we're talking defensive player of the year. That's just how good he's been. And the offense is just the offense, dude. I mean, as long as they stay healthy, Sonic and Knuckles stay together, knocking on wood. Amon-Ra, Jameson, all of them. The Lions, I actually think they'd be my number 1 right now. Like they are my number 1 among those teams that you mentioned, the 4-1s in the NFC. Behind them, God, dude, I might have to give it to the Bucs. I just think they've been really impressive.
Even though the Eagles beat them. That was because of that. No, never mind. That was against the Rams. Yeah, even though the Eagles beat them, I'm still giving it to the Buccaneers because something doesn't seem right with the Eagles. Something seems off. I don't know what it is, but the Eagles they're just winning games. They're not putting up the numbers that you want to see. They're not making these big time splashy plays. And maybe I'm just basing this off of the 4-on-1 teams that I would rather watch on TV right now. Yeah, I think so.
I think the Buccaneers are just so damn good. And I think I'm just such a Baker Mayfield fan. I have been for a while, and I'm glad he's getting the shine now. But I think I got to give it to the Buccaneers. They're just playing some really, really good football. Number 3, yeah, I'd probably have to give it to the Eagles. And number 4, I have to give it to the 49ers just because of the way they've been winning. I know that they have got this 4-1 record, and you can't scoff at a 4-1 record. But if you're asking me to rank the other teams right now, there have been too many situations where we've come away the next day saying, there's a lot to nitpick from this, but I'm just glad they won. And how many times can we say that and then admit that, oh, yeah, this is the best team in the conference? I just can't. And by the way, I mentioned those Saquon Barkley rushing numbers earlier, and I'm going through the advanced metrics. If you go through those, Christian McCaffrey's right at the bottom right now, literally dead last out of the 42 running backs in efficiency. So luckily he's catching passes, but it's just the 49ers with their bend but don't break defense and their offense, which at times hasn't been able to score in the second half. Yeah, I'd take those other teams above them right now, those 4-1 teams. But Derek, I might take Kyle Shanahan over any other coach of those 4-1 teams.
Oh, I would definitely do that. I think the reason they're 4-1 is because of Kyle Shanahan, and that's why he's the leader in my clubhouse for Coach of the Year.
Ooh, a little Cody.
Yeah. You could put Shane Steichen there and Liam Cohen, but the reason the Niners are 4-1 is because of Kyle Shanahan. As far as ranking the NFC teams, the Lions, they are not skipping a beat offensively or defensively. I think that the biggest question mark we had going into the season was the coordinators. And Dan Campbell has proven to be a really good head coach and put the right guys in the position to be those coordinators. They look the exact same a year ago offensively to me. Defensively, they look a little better with Kelvin Shepard. I know they give up some points, but for the most part, they keep teams in check with the pass rush, and it helps that Aiden Hutchinson is there right now, as opposed to last year where the defense just crumbled without him. But yeah, I would say the Lions are the best team in the NFC. I would say the Eagles are number 2. I have to give credit to them beating the Buccaneers. I think they have the most talent next to the Lions. I think a lot of people automatically say the Eagles are the most talented team in football. I would say the Lions are. Offensively, from quarterback to running back, 2 running backs, the tight ends, the wide receivers, the offensive line, they're just stacked, along with the Eagles as well. But I would go Lions number 1, Eagles 2. I think they could just, fix things here or there, and they'll be fine. A.J. Brown needs to just realize what team he's on. He's on a good situation. I would put the Buccaneers 3rd. They just know how to win. They are able to stay in games because of their quarterback having the mentality of we're never going to lose a game. We are never going to get blown out of a game. We're always going to be competitive. I don't think that Todd Bowles is the best coach in the world. I think it's because of that quarterback at Baker Mayfield and the way that he elevates that roster. Mm-hmm. And they're pretty talented, but I think Baker now, we're seeing him as somebody in the text line said, or the chat said, he's matured. He definitely has in his play as well. And then 4th.
It's just funny that Otis Bird said that because he absolutely has. But at the same time, there's the video that circulated that went viral of him yelling at that Seahawks fan and then posting on his Instagram a photo of the team in the tunnel with a picture of that Seahawk fan in the corner. And the caption was, "Name the time and place." I don't know if Baker's matured, but he's as confident as he's ever been.
He's cocky. Sure. He's a little arrogant. He's fiery, but
he's the best. He is cocky, arrogant, fiery in the best way possible.
Yeah, Otis said, I meant he matured from his Cleveland days. Yes, because what rubbed me the wrong way was him. I remember that whole situation with Hugh Jackson where he refused to shake his hand. I think he's matured since then. I will say also, he has this weird motivation thing where he claims that Steve Wilkes got him released from the Carolina Panthers. That did not happen whatsoever. So maybe, I don't know, maybe he hasn't matured, but maybe I'm just liking his play a lot better than the Cleveland days. And then, I would put the 49ers 4th because even though their wins are very impressive to go on the road to Seattle week 1, to go to LA and beat them, I don't know how good of a football team they are. I don't really know what they do particularly well. They win, and Kyle Shanahan schemes it up perfectly for them, but they don't run the ball very well. They don't get turnovers. They don't have a pass rush. They play really good defense. They throw the ball well with Mac Jones, but I don't know how long this is going to last. I really don't. I think that we'll see what happens against the Buccaneers this weekend. That will be a true test for the 49ers. But then after that, it's kind of a cakewalk, and I don't know how truly tested they will be. So I think that's going to be a thing against the Niners for the entire season. And Lauren F. of the chat here says, you guys are 49ers haters. No, I mean, I think reasonable 49er fans have this mentality that they're good. We just don't know how good they really are. And even John Lynch, I think, said to Matt Mayoko, it's not like we're going to definitely trade for somebody at the trade deadline. This team has to prove to me that they're worth trading for. So whether it's Trey Hendrickson or the fool's gold of Max Crosby, I don't think either happened. But, yeah, I think it's hard to gauge this 49er team given the injuries.
I agree. And maybe coming off as Niner haters now, but can tell you, Lauren, that we've been on the Kyle Shanahan train and the ridiculous idea that he shouldn't be the guy and that he's ever on the hot seat and all these sorts of things. We have been defending that team for a very long time. And this is just 4-1 team. If you're talking about the grand scheme of the NFC, you'd probably put them above a bunch of different teams out there. But if you're taking just the 4-1, I don't think you can realistically put the Niners above those teams right now. Maybe until they start getting their guys healthy back. They get George Kittle, Ricky Pearsall, Jawan Jennings, Brock Purdy, who I guess is excited to be back, or people are excited to see him back, except for Grant Cohn. Grant Cohn's not looking forward to that. He's on a roll right now on the Mac Jones train. But, yeah, I mean, if we're 49ers haters for that, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, look, I get they're the number one in the NFC right now, but my expectations for the 49ers the rest of the way are, I think it's going to be Mac Jones just because he's the healthier quarterback. We'll see what happens when Brock Purdy's 100%. But once, they could win the division. If they sweep the Rams, if they sweep the Seahawks, if they sweep the Cardinals, they're in good position for that. And their schedule is pretty easy. They could get the number one seed. But if they do face the likes of the Eagles, the Lions, the Bucks, even the Packers, or the Rams again, I don't know how they'll fare in the postseason. I really don't.
Yeah. No, I'm not sure. And this is going to be the longest break they'll have until the bye week. Each week from here on out is either 6 or 7 days of rest, and that's it, because they don't have the bye week till week 14, which is nuts.
Yeah, I mean, me and Steven know well, like when the Raiders were having their successful season of 2016, we were like, okay, this team is good, but we didn't know how good they were really on defense. Like offensively, they were always in games and winning by the skin of their teeth, and it was fun, exciting football. But once they were going to play the Patriots or any other team like that in the AFC or the Steelers, we knew they weren't going to stand a chance against them. And sure enough, when Derek Carr broke his leg, it was too much. So we're just being realistic here. Come on, everybody. All right. As far as other games, the Titans and Cardinals game was entertaining on just an epic meltdown level. Like the Cardinals, it's very similar to their game against the Panthers, where they were up 27-3, I believe, in that game, and had the Panthers, creep back in the fourth quarter and almost lost that game. But Calais Campbell preserves the victory with a sack. This game was everything that could go wrong did go wrong. So let's start with Kyler Murray's fumble, where it snapped right to his face mask, and he had to go in the blue tent to get checked out. I mean, that's just goofy and nuts. And Jacoby Brissett had to come in for a play. But the Tennessee, God, you guys are pissing me off with the YouTube chat tonight. The Tennessee Titans.
I'm not laughing at that. I'm just looking up the replay of Kyler Murray getting hit in the face.
Oh yeah, dude, it's hilarious.
Come on.
But the Titans do nothing.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. They do nothing with the ball after that fumble recovery. Yeah, I mean, if you can't play for the audience, because the Kyler Murray fumble is just ridiculous.
All right, hang on. Okay, one sec. Oh, jeez. Oh, poor guy.
Just right in the face. Just right in the face.
So here's the thing. Didn't know the ball was coming.
Hang on, let's get oh man. That's a bad look.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. And the Cam Newton effort to go after the ball as well. But yeah, who knows if Kyler got concussed after that, but he came back into the game. And then the Amari DiMercado fumble Good Lord, dude. After we've seen so many instances of this
Yeah.
where you see Adnan Mitchell last weekend, you see Jonathan Taylor a year ago. Who else was it in recent years? A lot of guys have done this. I don't know what the hell's going on where guys don't run through the fucking end zone with the ball in their hands.
I don't know. Deshaun Jackson, I guess, would be an example.
Deshaun
right?
Jackson in 2008. I remember a Denver linebacker. I think Danny Trevathan dropped the ball before he scored. It's just terrible. So Amari DiMercato busts a 72-yard run and then fumbles at the 1-yard line. And then on the broadcast, people are like, L'Jarius Sneed, what a heads-up play for him to knock the ball out. It's like, no, dude, he did it on his own. Did it on his own. He's like going to his knees and did this like celebration up in the air, like, oh, thank you, God. And then he didn't realize he fumbled the ball. And Jonathan Gannon on the sideline, he got fined $100,000 for this. Slow down, player. Like, dude, you can't. I know you're pissed off. Don't put your hands on another player. Like, if the roles were reversed and Amari DiMercato smacked you in the face, he's probably cut. So he needs to chill out, and he acknowledged that, and hope we move on from that. But bad look on Jonathan Gannon's part. And then the interception thrown by Cam Ward, where the Cardinals player like falls to the ground and then comes back up again, fumbles the ball, and it's recovered by Tyler Lockett for a touchdown. That's how they ultimately lose the game. I never seen a meltdown like this where 3 plays like this go against you so poorly. It's just like looks like just terrible football. So the Arizona Cardinals, not a very good football team. The Tennessee Titans, not a good football team either, but they were bailed out by the Cardinals. Just ridiculous. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, just pissing the game away. Good for Brian Callahan because he's getting a lot of shit lately, and I don't think he should be fired, but most likely will. So I've never seen a game like that in the NFL before. It was just an incredible meltdown.
Yeah. Kyler Murray said after the game that it was how to lose a game 101. I'm like, nah, that wasn't a rudimentary basic course on how to lose a game. That was an advanced course on how to lose a game, my friend. My God. It was ugly. It was ugly, ugly, ugly. They would have gone 28-6.
I know.
28-6. But instead, the Titans come back and score a touchdown the following possession. That was just... I didn't have anything written down for this game other than that. Like, just boneheaded plays. Like, that's what defined it, man. The Cardinals had it. They let it slip away. The Gannon thing, I actually don't. I didn't see hands put on a player. I thought he was just yelling at him. So at first, the fine I thought was a little too much. But then I went back and watched it, and I guess they did fine him $100,000 for a reason. They don't just do that.
He smacked him on his pads.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely deserved to get chewed out, but
definitely
physically hit.
No, you can't put hands on a player like that. But Jonathan Gannon definitely had the right to scream at him for what went on in that game.
Yeah.
If he finishes that run, like any of those plays, besides the Kyler Murray fumble, if Amari DiMercato scores and the defender gets that interception, they win the game. But because of their boneheadedness, they lose.
And Marvin Harrison had himself a nice game too. I guess that's something
he
else.
Did.
He had that
catch.
He did.
Yeah, he did. And then other games that went on this weekend, the Ravens, I think, are the most disappointing team in all of football. Everybody picked them to win the Super Bowl, but they start 1-4, and they are just horrible defensively. Like, they've given up 177 points through 5 weeks, and the Ravens have a storied history of defense where during the 2000 season, they allowed only 165 points. Think about that. Like, I know we're in a different era of football, but they've given up 177 points through 5 weeks.
It's insane.
And the Texans, who were inept offensively, and then they put up 44 on them. And I don't even know how to gauge that. Like, I don't even know how to gauge the Chiefs when they put up 37 on them. So, yeah, I think that I don't know what to make of the Ravens. Even if Lamar Jackson comes back healthy and they put up a lot of offense, I don't know how these games are going to go if they have to have these shootouts. And then with the Texans, they may get some life now, but I still think it's going to be the Colts and Jaguars that may win this division.
Sure. But the Texans are still just 2-3. They have plenty of time to get back in it. And this was as confident as we've seen CJ Stroud look in the last couple of years. He was quick. He was decisive. I think he was like 16 for 18 on quick passes, like under 2.5 seconds. Whenever he was under pressure, he got sacked a couple of times and held the ball long too long. But for the most part, he was very efficient in this game, extremely accurate. Just the CJ Stroud that we usually know. I mean, he only missed 4 passes all game. Like, that's just insane. But he also ran one, that big run for 30 yards. I think it was close to a touchdown, but pretty cool. A week after he admitted, and I don't know. At first, I'm like, damn, you really want to say that? But a week after, he says, like, I go back and watch my high school tape and just kind of sit there in awe of how fast I was back in high school. And then he comes out and has that 30-yard run this last week. So good for him for finally getting off of whatever schneid that he was on. And maybe this is a time when the Texans can turn it around because good God, man, they need it. And it feels like they have the talent to do it. The Texans are a hard team to evaluate right now.
No, they definitely are. And yeah, the Ravens, I don't even know what to make of them right now.
Harbaugh probably on the hot seat, dude. It's getting warm.
I don't think so. I think he's been there for too long. I think that, I don't think they're going to fire him.
All right.
I just can't see it, man. I think that, we'll see if it continues and if it results in, back-to-back, like, losing seasons. I still think that they can rectify this and maybe get in the playoffs. I mean, their schedule's not bad after this. We just have to see how healthy Lamar is, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not buying the AFC North. The Browns are going forward with Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. The Bengals traded for Joe Flacco today, but I don't know if that's going to make them a playoff team by any means. Mm-hmm. The Steelers have a 3-1 record, but I don't know how much I'm buying them. It'd be crazy for them to, turn things around and make the postseason, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. And then we got the Commanders and Chargers. The Chargers, like, if the Chiefs would have won that game against the Jaguars, I think that we're having the discussion that they're back in control of the AFC West. But now the Broncos are, up atop, or the Chargers are number 1 in the AFC West, but the Broncos are right there with them. But the Chargers' injuries are just mounting right now between Joe Alt and, of course, we know Rashawn Slater's out for the season, but now both running backs are out and
they just benched their starting center, Bradley Bozeman. Andre James is going to be starting in his place.
There we go. Guy we know with the Raiders. And then, Najee Harris is out for the season. I mean, you could see the protection not holding up for Justin Herbert in this game. They started out really well with the Ladd McConkey touchdown, but after that, the Commanders' defensive line was all over Justin Herbert. No running game to speak of. Like, now it's catching up with them where it can't be Justin Herbert doing everything where he's the leading rusher in a game and also doing everything quarterback-wise. So the defense has to step up. I don't know how it's going to get better for them offensively. And then Jaden Daniels looked solid in his return back from injury for the last 2 games. So, yeah, I think that the Chargers, we may see them dip a little bit now with their injuries. The Commanders are kind of getting their groove again.
I'm excited to watch them with Daniels if he's working the way that he was in that game. But 2 players that I wanted to point out on the Commanders, because as you mentioned with the Chargers, there's just so many injuries now. It makes you wonder. But with the Commanders, look what Deebo Samuel's doing, everybody. Just look what he's doing. Had another touchdown in this game. I believe 99 yards receiving. He could be less than that, but Deebo's having a hell of a year right now with the Commanders, and it seems like he's kind of revitalized his career wherever he was at. But Jaden Daniels looked awesome. And then another player, this might be the breakout player of the season, Dorrance Armstrong, veteran, was with the Cowboys for a while, now with the Commanders. I think he got his 2 more sacks in this game, and now that's like his 5th on the year, and that matches the exact same amount of sacks that he got last season. And he hasn't played as many pass rushing snaps as a lot of defensive linemen. If you're talking about like the guys who are like every down type dudes, they've probably played anywhere ranging from 125 to 140 snaps pass rushing wise. Armstrong's only played 100, just over 100, and he's still getting as much pressure as those guys that are up there in the 140. So shout out to him. That's a name to watch for sure. But yeah, man, I'm not saying it's like a good win for the Commanders. It's more of a Chargers loss this game just because they're hurt. But a couple players to watch.
No, definitely. Are you suggesting that the Niners should not have moved on from Debo?
No, I'm just saying, watch what he's doing. If you had any Debo Samuel fans out there who enjoyed watching him play, he's looking like the Debo Samuel that he used to look like.
No, that's fair. I think he fits perfectly with Cliff Kingsbury's scheme. But yeah, it was time to move on. He did not have a good season a year ago.
Sure.
And he's in the last year of his deal. It was time to move on from Debo.
But I think a lot of people miss the old Debo, and I think what you're getting a lot of right now is the old Debo. So if you want to enjoy watching the old Debo, you can watch that in Washington.
And he's playing on a better football team. A year ago, the Niners were not good, and now he's on the Commanders that are playing really well right now. So it's bound to happen. Yeah. The Patriots beat the Bills 23-20. This was a fun game to watch, and it's not a terrible loss for the Bills, even though it's their first home loss in a long time. But the Patriots had a really good game plan to stop the run. They had no flow offensively. Like that team, even though Josh Allen does everything for them, it flows through James Cook. If the running game is going, then that opens things up for everybody else. And the fact that they were shut down in the running game, that made things harder for Josh Allen. He threw a bad interception when they were driving. But Mike Vrabel has this effect on teams, man. It looked like the same thing with Tennessee a couple years ago. And I think Mike Vrabel's record when he was head coach of the Titans versus the Bills was above 500. So he knows how to beat Josh Allen. I think this wasn't like a win where you're like, oh my God, the Bills could lose the AFC East to the Patriots this year. No, I think the Bills are going to win the AFC East. I think they might be the number one seed in all of football or the AFC. But I think this is going to show that Mike Vrabel and the Patriots are going to be a pain in the ass for the Bills going forward. It's not going to be an easy out like in recent years. The Bills have dominated against the Patriots, but now Mike Vrabel has the scheme, and he has the quarterback, and he has the running game, and he has a former Bill that's just aching to go get revenge on his former quarterback and the team. Yeah. I do think that in time the Patriots could win this division. But right now, when Josh Allen faces the Bills, it's going to be, a tough out for him every time.
I'm going to put the word vision in division. I see the vision for the Patriots. I see where they're aiming. Like they feel like they got their quarterback. They might need a couple of running backs back there. They might need some wide receivers too. But Drake May is just a solid quarterback. Their defense held up well, as you mentioned about them focused on stopping the run, and they got the better of Josh Allen. I think they actually got into his head just with how he reacted at the end of the game, with guys chirping at him and him chirping back instead of kind of he normally laughs. He talks a lot of trash, but he normally laughs at guys. You could tell that this one was like one out of anger when he chirped back. But just a solid overall win. I'm in agreement with you. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the Patriots are going to win the division. I agree. They're going to be similar to the Seahawks to me, where it's just maybe they're not a playoff team, but if you got playoff contenders that are trying to win at the end of the season and they got to play the Seahawks or the Patriots, watch out.
Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, I still think the Bills are the best team in the AFC. I just think that the Patriots are going to be a problem. They're developing something. They're having, a season that I was hoping the Raiders would have, but yeah, not happening right now for the Raiders. And then lastly, I know there was other games this weekend, but maybe we play. Yeah, the Mike McDaniel sound, Steven, that we could just play from the Dolphins loss.
No, I don't.
You don't have that one?
No.
He just was kind of rambling in his post-game presser, and
really,
yeah, it's becoming a trend right now with McDaniel, and I just feel bad for him. The Dolphins had a 17-0 lead in this game, and I'm really glad to see Darren Waller have a resurgence. Like maybe if it's not Daniel Jones or Trevor Lawrence, maybe he's in the conversation for comeback player of the year. But the Dolphins, losing this game up 17-0. The Panthers came back in this, and Rico Dowdle has over 200 yards rushing. I don't know how much longer Mike McDaniel will be head coach of the Dolphins, but he just sounds so unenthused about this team.
He was really frustrated at the, just like he's as I was, and we talked about the challenge ahead to get ready for the Chargers, and that was kind of the extent of it.
Good Lord.
Yeah. he doesn't sound like he's having fun. And, being a coach in the NFL is very difficult, but it's not the same, like when you're 1-4, this is going to happen. Like I brought this up when he was, the new offensive mastermind that got on the scene, and he's wearing the cool glasses and the capris and everybody's laughing at his jokes, but now it's not the same. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with Mike McDaniel. I would assume that he may get fired, even though he's a brilliant offensive mind. Like that play call he had a week ago against the Jets, where it was a flip play behind the back of Tua to give it to Malik Washington. Really cool play design.
Mhm.
I just don't know. I just don't know if he's a true. Wait for it, Stephen. Leader of men.
Oh God.
If you could say run it down their gullet, which is a phrase you say over and over again, I could say leader of men.
Yeah, but leader of men is what everyone says.
You're trying to, have your own trend with
Different here. Come up with something with different than leader of men. You're a creative guy. You could do it.
Yeah, I'll think of something.
Yeah, man. Just go against the grain when everyone's zigging, jag. Everyone's saying
usually
run down
do.
the throat. Shove it down the gullet.
All right, fine. I'll think of a different word. I'll go to my thesaurus to come up with a something different than leader of men.
Yeah, what the hell happened to the Dolphins' run game, man? I was thinking back to that. Just looking at the comparisons, you mentioned Rico Dowdle. Just thinking back to where the Dolphins were in 2023, which is, they brought in Eric Engel, the fullback from the Raiders. Okay, they're going to run him in the same way that the 49ers used Kyle Juszczyk, and they did. They have Raheem Mostert. This new guy, Devon Achane. Who the hell is that? Now he seems to be the only guy, and he's not even running effectively. Man, the hell happened to that run game? Mike McDaniel's going to flourish somewhere as an offensive coordinator, especially when you're actually the offensive coordinator. No one's really an offensive coordinator with the 49ers. Not when Kyle Shanahan's there. I'm sorry. He could say that Clay Kubiak is, but he's not. It's Kyle.
No, 100%. I don't think it'd be the smart thing to do for Mike McDaniel to go back to the Niners. Like, it's different for Robert Saleh, where he can be the head coach of the defense. Mike McDaniel needs to go to a defensive-minded coach and be the OC of that team to get back into the good graces of owners and the NFL media to think, okay, this guy could be a head coach once again. Just other scores. The Saints beat the Giants 26-14. Two, bad teams. Good first win for Spencer Rattler and the Saints and Kellen Morris head coach. The Vikings beat the Browns in London.
Whoa. I got a number.
Oh, go for it.
I got a fever. Spencer Rattler. Solid game. That was the first game this season in which the Giants, they had 17 pressures and no sacks. The most pressures without a sack this year. And Spencer Rattler was 10 for 15 when he was pressured, 150 yards, and I believe he threw a touchdown as well. Yeah, that was the touchdown pass to Rashid Shaheed, which had me losing in my fantasy matchup, and I was real pissed off about that. Shout out to Spencer Rattler, man.
Yeah, I mean, good first win, and I thought that Jackson Dart would get a second win in this game, but yeah, good for the Saints to get their first victory of the season. The Vikings beat the Browns 21-17. Dylan Gabriel, okay in this game. I mean, gave him some offense more than I thought they were going to have. And the Vikings are just a better football team. I thought that, even though Dylan Gabriel played he played fine. The Vikings defense was just going to be too much. So it's Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders going forward, where the Browns heading into the season had 4 quarterbacks, and now they traded away Kenny Pickett to the Raiders and Joe Flacco to the Bengals now. So yeah, it's the Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders show going forward. And, there's another game that I missed. The Cowboys beat the Jets 37-22. The Jets are still the only winless team at football right now. Dak Prescott with back-to-back 4-touchdown performances. Anything from this game, Steven?
Dude, we didn't talk enough about Javonte Williams going into the year. I didn't know that. Like, we were so hyper focused on George Pickens and the duo with CeeDee Lamb and what they could do with Dak Prescott, but what's their run game going to be? And he's putting in just solid work. He's just been sharp. I think he had over 100 yards in this game. He's just been really good, man. So shout out to him. And the Jets. The Jets. I mean, what more can you say? They're the first team since at least 1950 to start a season 0-5 without a takeaway in each of those 5 games.
And I don't know if Justin Fields is a starting quarterback in the NFL.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I think
God,
it's
who talked him up? What an idiot.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, God, that Week 1 performance against the Steelers looks like a lifetime ago. Yeah, I mean, where's this defense we keep hearing about? Like they were good in 2023 and 2022, and you thought they were going to be the reason why Aaron Rodgers was going to take them to the Super Bowl, but man, they do not play good defense. And I thought Aaron Glenn was going to maybe make them a little bit better, but yeah, I don't know about the Jets. But you know what? Between the two franchises, the Cowboys and the Jets, I would say the Cowboys were more embarrassed because of Jerry Jones flipping off fans from his booth and getting fined. I don't know the total. I think it was $125,000 a day.
No, it was $500K, dude.
Oh, $500K? Wow.
Yeah.
But that's chump change to him, even though he's appealing it, even though he's caught on tape flipping off the crowd. But he says the reason why he did it was because he saw a bunch of Cowboys fans and he meant to give a thumbs up, and instead his middle finger came out instead.
You know, I remember when I was playing back for the University of Arkansas in 1964, the national championship. I remember I was flipping off a bunch of fans there, and I felt like I was at that championship game. So that's where that came from.
Yeah, the next documentary will be like a whole thing on that. I have to tell you the backstory of why I flipped off those fans. Ridiculous. And then lastly, pretty good game on Monday night. The Jags and the Chiefs. Jags win 31-28. I mean, this is a huge win. This is a franchise-changing win, in my opinion, for the Jaguars. And pretty good back-to-back wins to go on the road to beat the 49ers and then come back home. We all think the Chiefs are turning a corner and back to where they used to be. But, dude, Devin Lloyd might be your defensive player of the year right now with a tremendous pick six that was reminiscent of James Harrison against the Cardinals back in the Super Bowl. And Trevor Lawrence, you know, he's not wowing you on the stat sheet, but he's doing enough to win games. Travis Hunter with his first eye-popping play as a wide receiver. Yeah, dude, I think the Jaguars are, you know, a couple years ago, they made the postseason. They won like 5 games to close things out to go 9-8 and won the AFC South. Had that epic playoff comeback against the against the Chargers. And you saw a lot of potential there, but yeah, Doug Peterson couldn't get the most out of Trevor Lawrence. He was throwing him under the bus a season ago. And to beat the Chiefs, I mean, that's a huge win for this franchise. So yeah, I think I would say I give the benefit of the doubt to the Colts because I think they're just playing better football right now. But Jacksonville's playing really good defense. And yeah, the Chiefs, you know, I think they're going to be still a playoff team. I think that they're struggling a little bit with, you know, their offense. Defensively, they looked poor last night, especially Chris Jones. You showed that clip, Steven, where the play where Trevor Lawrence gets the game-winning touchdown where he falls down twice but runs into the end zone. Chris Jones does nothing on that play, and that's always been a just an indictment on him where he takes plays off, but not when the game's on the line. So good going forward for the Jacksonville Jaguars. For the Chiefs, I still think they're going to be a playoff team, but they're definitely struggling a little bit.
Well, when people were going after Chris Jones, I'm going to empathize with him on this. Going back, I read a little bit and saw that this was true. Apparently, he did have an aunt who he was close to pass away while watching
that's right.
play and while watching them play, and he was really close to her. And really, after his post-game comments, like he really just looks like he didn't want to be there, just playing football. It's like the same thing with, you know, unfortunately, it's the same thing with like Mooney Ward, where you're just your head's not in it, and you just really don't care because it doesn't feel like any of it matters at that time. So I don't really blame Chris Jones for being in that headspace. Maybe he needs to take like a week off or something. I don't know. Because that's, even though he might be known for that, it still feels like it was, I don't know, maybe out of character. But you also mentioned the Devin Lloyd pick six, and shout out to Benjamin Solak on ESPN. But that whole play was like a football nerd's dream because of the and again, it's Ben Solak who pointed this out, but there's a certain concept they run in the red zone where they have Travis Kelce on the inside slot, and then they have a wide receiver on the outside, and they just have the wide receiver run a quick slant, and Kelce run in that same direction and then pull off an angle route. And when the defense is in a goal line formation where it looks like they're just going to have everyone up at the line of scrimmage and maybe try to stop the run, and they actually try to bring a little bit of pressure with a blitz, instead, that disguise, they called out of the blitz at the last second as soon as the ball was snapped. And Patrick Mahomes even said afterwards, it's like, yeah, that was just a coverage that I wasn't ready for, and they just totally out-schemed us in this situation.
The coverage that they played, they had played zero kind of inside that 10-yard area in previous games, and they hadn't shown the poppers with the linebackers popping out when they were protected. And I think back to the game against Cincinnati early in the year that they hit Jamar Chase kind of on a slant route, and so I saw the look, and I checked to the play with the in routes, having 3 ends, knowing that they're going to try to pass off the guys, and Juju was going to pop wide open, and he did. But credit to, they schemed themselves, and they kind of looked over what they could do better, and they popped right underneath where I was throwing the ball. And so it was a great call by them defensively, and obviously a great play by Zero, getting the pick. And then I got to find a way to tackle him or slow him down after he gets the interception.
Yeah, that's just the pure example right there of coaches putting their best players in a position to be successful, and then those players executing on that.
Yeah, I think as much as Liam Cohen has had an effect on the offense, Anthony Capinelli, the defensive coordinator for the Jaguars, has been incredible. So, yeah, they just look a lot better than a season ago. And
that's from Travis Hunter, dude.
Yeah,
God, make him a full-time receiver. He plays at corner, sure, but make him a full-time receiver. Come on.
I think right now, just to get his feet wet in the NFL, they need him to play wide receiver. Let the defense figure things out. They're playing fine right now, where Travis Hunter's not like really an impact player on defense. But yeah, with Brian Thomas Jr. and Dynami Brown, they could be a lethal offense. And Travis Etienne's running effectively. Brendan Strange, their tight end's out for, he's placed on IR, so he's out for the next 4 weeks. But yeah, they need Travis Hunter to make this offense explosive. I am glad that the Jags won this game, because I wondered how this was going to go early on when the Chiefs got a weird call. The opening drive, I don't know if it was the opening drive, but their first scoring possession, Travis Kelce scores on a obvious pick play from Juju Smith-Schuster, and they throw a flag for offensive pass interference. And then Patrick Mahomes complains to the refs. The whole team complains, and then they pick up the flag. I thought that was ridiculous. So I'm glad the Jags won the game, where we're not talking about that. But I never think that the NFL is always favoring the Chiefs when it comes to calls. But right there, that looked pretty obvious. That I can't defend that. Why would you pick up the flag in that situation?
Yeah, it didn't really make much sense.
No, it did not. All right, everybody, that's it for week 5 in the NFL. Anything else, Steven?
Let's get to this question from Ernie, too, here. Wherever it was, it's way at the top. How do you feel about Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl halftime show?
You want me to answer this?
I'll go if you won't want to.
Sure. I did not know how big Bad Bunny was. So when I first saw this, I was like, really? Okay. Then I texted Steven, and I was like, dude, is Bad Bunny that big enough to be a Super Bowl halftime show performer? And you're like, yeah, he's pretty big. And I know that he hosted SNL. My first introduction to him was years ago when he was on that Corona commercial with Snoop Dogg, and I was like, I don't know who this guy is. And now he's popped up. I can't tell you a single song he sings. I know he was in Happy Gilmore too. I know he's hosted SNL a few times now, I guess, or been the musical performer, but he just hosted last week. It's not for me. It's not like the Super Bowl halftime show is not for me anymore. It's for a wider demographic. They're trying to go national. Not national. Sorry. They're trying to go international. You see that with the NFL going to London, and they go to Brazil and Ireland. So everybody that's up in your arms about this because none of his songs are in English, who cares? Whatever. Football fans will watch. And then if you want to watch the halftime show, cool. If you don't, whatever, move on. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
That's why I like it. I like it because it's metal and it's punk in the way that it's going to piss some people off just because they're not going to understand the words, which I love. And as far as halftime shows, like in general, I just think the medley thing, I don't like the medley thing. I don't like songs played for 30 seconds to a minute at a time. I don't like missing out on verses. If you go back and like watch Prince's halftime show, it's playing damn near full songs with every single track that he used. Same with Michael Jackson. It's a little different now. They feel like they have to go through all their hits. But Bad Bunny's a recent album, and I can't remember the name of it for the life of me. It's like Terrar Más Los Fotos. And it's fire, dude. All right. There's a song called, oh, I'm gonna butcher this so bad. Valle Inolvidable. Dude, when the horns hit,
I can't wait for the YouTube chat now.
When the horns hit, they hit. It's like a situation where you just start moving. There's a listen to that song over and over again. As a matter of fact, one time we were out at a restaurant and there was this group playing music next to us. What the hell you doing playing music at a restaurant for? But then, oh no, it was at a park. That's why it was at a park. And they played that song, Valle Inolvidable. They played that song several times, and I had no problem with it. Oh my God, it gets you moving. So I'm open to this one. I think you can do some sick stuff with the instrumentals. I really do. I really think so. I'm all for that. I think some of it had like some. I know he's Puerto Rican, but I think some of that music had some like Cuban influence to it. You know, some of the songs on that album made it sound like they're playing a little bit. You're listening to a little Santana.
Oh,
it's solid. It's a good album. And you know, me not being a fluent Spanish speaker, I did not understand any of the words. And Nueva Yol is another banger. Yes, it is, Ernie too. I agree. Oh my God, those horns, dude! I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, naturally there's going to be controversy with this, but whatever. Who gives a shit? Like, that'll be a big deal for Super Bowl Media Week, but you know, people will buy his music. They'll play it all over NFL Network. I remember when I worked at NFL Network, it was making music videos with NFL highlights of the performer for the Super Bowl halftime show. So I knew a lot of Jennifer Lopez, knew a lot of Shakira, whatever other performers were performing. Oh, when Dr. Dre and Mary J. Blige and Eminem and Kendrick performed at halftime when the Super Bowl was in LA, I love that one because that's my type of music. Yeah. But then again, you know, it's not for me. So whatever. I don't care. The performance will probably be fantastic. I liked Kendrick a year ago. So
I'm telling you, woo, I end up looking like Ben
Steven's
Stiller
ready.
I look like Ben Stiller from Along Came Polly when I start doing that dance, and I think I look like something slick. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll do pop culture catch up next time when we do the show on Saturday. I'll give you my review on what was a movie? One Battle After Another. I also saw the Charlie Sheen documentary. Pretty good. But yeah, we'll be back on Saturday. I think we'll be on a little earlier, maybe at 10 o'clock, but we'll let you guys know. To everybody. Oh, sorry, Steven, go ahead.
I've been watching Home Improvement lately. It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix. Home Improvement rips, dude.
That's your go-to now before you go to bed? I always love that. The little in the intro was fantastic. Wilson. Yeah, the neighbor. And Richard Karn. What's his friend's name?
Karn, yeah.
Yeah, Richard Karn.
Al Borland.
Al Borland, yes. Tim Allen, God, he's been in TV for so long now. He's got another show on ABC.
Bro, he was the king. I was talking to Jesse about he was the king in the 90s.
He was.
He had at one point he had the #1 TV show with Home Improvement. He had the #1 movie, I think, with Toy Story, and he also had like a number one New York Times bestseller. Like the early 90s, Tim Allen was it.
Yeah,
and he's a solid actor as far as like a sitcom actor goes. He's legit.
Jungle to Jungle. So the message, kids, is no matter what happens in life, if you sell your friends out when you're dealing drugs, you'll find success. Look it up.
That mugshot will get shared throughout.
Oh, dude, that mustache is incredible.
It really is.
All right, everybody. I got beer and hot sauce coursing through my veins right now. I'm tired. Thanks everybody in the chat. We'll see you guys on Saturday. Thanks to Otis Bird. Thanks to the Skills Report. Thanks to Don Peralta, the giver of my dresser. You might see in the corner over there. To Ernie One, to Rockaduera, to Lauren, to Tacky, to Pat H, and I believe that is it. Oh no, our guy Van, and there was one Raider fan. I think it's Raider 415. Is that his name?
No, it was the 415, the sports leader beater, whatever it was.
Leader beater. Oh yeah, 415, the rage leader.
The rage leader.
There you go. All right, everybody. We'll see you on Saturday. Steven, say what you always say.
Oh yeah, inolvidable. It's just our opinion, man.